This is the narrated version of my last video to basically share everything I've learned, and thanks to several of the commenters for information.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
Now, if you didn't see the last video, it is about all these soldiers in Brussels, Belgium, and around Europe wearing masks. Menacing masks. I'll show you. Here you go. Everybody in Belgium and Paris looks like this with machine guns. The answer is why. It's not about a few relatively tiny terrorist attacks. What you see there is by design. It is on purpose. We'll call it what you want. The New World Order, our puppet masters, those in control. It is now ratcheting up the new aspect or the new form of the police state. And it's conditioning on both sides. I thought this was very interesting. A commenter by the name of, I think, Jake Ragefest, I believe, sent me to a thesis, and it talks about how if you're wearing a mask, in this case soldiers wearing a mask, you're more apt to do things that you normally wouldn't do, perhaps, because your identity is protected. So I thought about it, and I thought, there's conditioning going on here on both sides. The public, we are being conditioned to accept this new aspect of the police state, to accept this menacing soldiers on our street corners in masks, very intimidating. One of the reasons the Nazis had such literally beautiful uniforms back in the day, it's pure intimidation. They knew the psychological effects of those uniforms, as whoever's rolling these masks out know the psychological effects of them. Now, the conditioning is also on the other side. It's conditioning the soldiers to almost take on a different persona when they're wearing a mask. They might be apt to do things they normally wouldn't do if they're behind the protection of the mask. And when the order's given, a horrible potential order is given for the soldiers to do something, they're more apt to do it if they're wearing the mask. So I thought that is very interesting. There's conditioning going on here on both sides. Now, I've had people write in and say, someone actually said to me, it's very cold in that part of Europe. Come on, it has nothing to do with the temperature, and it's never that cold in that part of Europe, even in the winter. I mean, go to Minnesota, it's not even in the same ballpark. And then I've had people say, well, they need to protect their identities because terrorists could target them. That's not it either. I could see if just the raiding party, the 6 or 7 guys that raid the, quote, terrorist stronghold or their apartment or looking for the mastermind, I could see if they have the masks. The masks are being worn, as we've seen all over the news, across the entire city. So yeah, just a guy guarding an airport, needs to protect himself from terrorists and terrorist retribution. Guys just standing around on street corners with machine guns have to have masks on. Like, how many terrorists have targeted police and I don't know, but it's like 0 or twice. It's not a big deal. And if that was the case, how come, how about the judges and the prosecutors that prosecuted the mob in the United States? Were they wearing masks? How about the jury in the Al Capone trial, tax trial? Were they wearing masks? No, it's not about that. Police officers have some balls. They don't need to hide. So that's total BS. It is the next facet of the police state that is being rolled out. It's conditioning on both sides. We will not accept this in the United States. These masks. It will not come here.
Yes, brothers, the police state you so crave is here.